Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Oh my god, we already started this trial by Seagull. Steve over here is screaming scene partner. That's gonna be super interesting. We're loading in Calamity versus Eunoia, and first off, we have Calamity killing for us on the Mastermind. It has been so very long since I've seen a Wesker set. We hardly ever see them. And that is an incredibly juicy hit right there. Incredibly interesting map as well. Dead Dog for Wesker. I don't know how I feel about that. I really do not, because I'm not entirely sure. Oh my god. He just got pat so hard. Unlucky. That is the first down already into the trial. We also saw that Wesker himself did not bring Corruptor Dimension. So look at that, already getting so much good value out of not bringing it. This 3 Hex perks, and it actually, one of the new Dracula perks, Hex Wretched Fate, I believe. It's whenever the first generator gets done, Hex is placed on the Obsession, and it's like it takes them 20% longer to do gens, which is really interesting to bring because, like, honestly, Pentimento does 30%, so it's only 20% and only on the Obsession. I don't know, we'll have to see what he's cooking up here. We also have Grim, which could be incredibly interesting perks. The Metox gets saved immediately, and the Mastermind is on a chase with a completely new survivor right here. The Decisive Strike, however, so that might be a choice that is to be made. We'll have to see. The one bad part about selecting this map for a set is that you still have to deal with the main building. Doesn't matter who you are, you will be getting looped here at least once or twice. So, Dyer, hello, you're in the hot seat with me. What do you think about this map, this killer, this team? What are your predictions?
Oh, throwing me into the predictions now. I totally agree with you. When you see the Alive Cat Saloon in combination with the Mastermind, you really think for a second, really? Is that making a lot of sense? Because the houses section with all the corners around it, etc., that's pretty difficult, right? So I was really surprised about that. On the other hand, when you're thinking about it, Calamity is known for something that is out of the box. They are known for putting pressure on the opponents in a lot of different ways. So picking a map that is not that expected makes a lot of sense here. Raiden with a relatively good chase. Unfortunately now, eventually, no, not even taking the injury, will just be thrown away and manages to go for the window as well. Nice double roll right there. About the prediction, Ray, I will go with Team Calamity for this one. They have been very strong for a long time now. They have been the 3rd place in the Season 9 as well. And as much as I admire Eunoia as a newcomer here being so strong that they knock out Kichase and Misery, I do think that Calamity should, with a realistic view, win this. Our Mastermind so far with 2 stages, 1 generator being completed. You would hope, though, that Eunoia is preparing some additional generators in the background, Ray, because this great chase by Raiden right here deserves to have quite some reward, I would say. So we see them in the distance as well. 3 different generators are under attack, but one of them only with 20%. Okay, this looks much better over here. At least 1 generator being completed, but Ray, there should be a second one.
Right there, Grim Embrace blocking it for, I think it's 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds every time you get a unique hook on another survivor. We can see the Wesker here is playing a little bit of nice guy. Maybe he is trying to go for the Grim Embrace strat, but he's just, you know, getting fresh hooks on all the other survivors. That's so nice of him. But Calamity, like you said, is known for their dastardly plays, and they are definitely playing up to the All Hallows League rule sets where you're allowed to run whatever you want, and they have cooked something up. We see here Metox is taking another hit, however, he has been hooked 1 time, so it's not as if he's getting all 4 hooks before he's able to get the rest there. Holding the dash right there, incredibly patient, will be rewarded with Metox down. This is a survivor that does not have Decisive Strike either, so that means that this could be a forced death onto the survivor. 1 Hex Totem gets cleansed. It is Undying, which protects all the other generators, or all the other totems that are still up. Blood Favor, an incredibly good perk. We've been seeing Killer Zusat, we've seen S tiers, we've seen Mastermind, who is not an S tier, unfortunately. Ooh, are we gonna see a little bit of dashing action? No, we do not. Raiden has also been hooked, so possibly just they're trying to space out these hooks. They do have 3 fresh, which is good, but it's still Wesker. You do want to get the survivors pressured. You still want to get them down. The Wretched Fate is actually doing some hard work here too. And oh, is Nancy gonna go down? She got thrown in basement. Yep, she is already down. And guess what? That is the 4th Grim Embrace stack. So right now, getting this hook will reward the killer with generators being blocked for a really long time. I don't know how long, 60, 70 seconds? I don't remember, they've changed it. But it's still, all generators cannot be repaired. This is a standstill moment. Yurushi just decides to deliverance right off of that hook. And Obi does find the survivor over here. He's not exactly the tunnel out, but he has been hooked once. And a very good dash right there. Blocks the pallets with blood favor. Gets a throw as well, which means that the Mastermind doesn't have as much limited movement. Obi is playing out of his mind. These dashes are just incredible. A masterclass in the Mastermind.
Masterclass in Mastermind. Really love that quote because it's a perfect description here for what we are seeing so far, and now also the pressure on the survivor team. Really, really difficult. 2 survivors are about to leave the trial, and this would be all fine for the killer if the final generator wouldn't be ready to go. Even though Calamity was putting a lot of pressure here and there, a lot of injuries, a lot of great chases, it was not enough to stop the final generator from popping. Or is it? Is Obi making a last second move over here next to the houses section as our Claudette is moving over here? I'm not entirely sure if that wasn't a miscommunication on the side of Eunoia. I do think the survivor interrupted the final active generator by moving over here. Now it will be the slug there by the killer, but they are ultimately getting it just there. Raiden with a great mid-game chase, making sure that quite some time has been wasted.
Honestly,
but yeah, this is such a... Yeah?
It's not a huge... This is not a bad position for the killer. Yeah, they didn't get a kill.
Yeah.
But they also found the survivor who was like one of the 2 that was worth the most stages. Like, this is actually a pretty good result, I would say. For this rule set and on this map, like, Obi kind of cooking.
I totally agree with you. And also when we are looking at the hook stages, right, we have 4 fresh hooks, which is also great for the killer when you are getting 8, 9, 10 hook stages, whatever it will be at the end, on 4 individual survivors. This is also something that can really work out for you. I do think Raiden's mid-game chase played a little bit of a part there. The fact that he wasn't able to eliminate someone in time. Usually you really want to do that before the final generator is coming out, because then you can still cut the generator efficiency from the survivor team. They are trying to move in. Not entirely sure if it's worth it, Ray, because Alcy was already hooked 2 times. So sacrificing 1 more hook stage and taking the risk that we have a couple of more downs doesn't seem to be the trade-off I would take, but maybe they are calculating a bit differently here. Yo, Raiden is shining, Ray.
Yep. Except that's Mathis. But that's still... Oh my god. And then Nancy was over here opening the door. Oh no. Okay, never mind. If that would have hurt her, that would have been such an L. That would have been her out of the game. That would have been so bad. But all that work, and they saved 1 stage. So, I mean, that's a W if you look at it anyway. But how many stages was that? 7? 7 stages, 4 fresh, I believe. Yeah, 7 stages, 4 fresh.
Yeah.
That's not a bad result for the killer, though I can't help but think about what had happened if Obi did get a tunnel out. That could have swayed the end game there as well, especially because whenever it is a 3v1 and you have like end game, it makes unhooking a little bit harder, especially if the Nancy wasn't there to open the door. I almost guarantee that survivor that Steve was going to be going down. If he had played it right, the survivor didn't do any kind of crazy juking moves, that could have been another stage right there. So I don't know. We'll have to see what the other side can pull off with this sort of with this sort of like balancing in the map. I do think Dead Dog is an interesting map for Mastermind, and it might be difficult to have to practice for it because the loops on that map are unlike a lot of other maps, right? You've got those buildings, those like I don't even know what you call it, around the left side of the map there. They're all just stringed together. That is definitely a unique way to have to loop as the Mastermind. We did see Obi do some incredible dashes there. So the Survivor team, if they want to win, they got to keep it under 7 stages because there was all the freshes. If they get to 7 stages, and it has to be all 4 fresh to be able to meet the tie. So we'll have to see what the survivors can do. I'm interested to see in the build if we will see a standardized, like maybe brutal strength, corrupt intervention, pain res, and then I don't know, like grim or something. What do you think will the survivors do, and what do you think the killer will do?
Well, it is one of these results still, right, where both sides can go quite confident into the upcoming trial. For the killer, I do think 7 stages for survivors is a great result, and Calamity will feel okay having 6 stages, basically 2 kills. They can certainly do that. They have a lot of strong runners on their team as well. A lot of the Calamity survivors are playing the 1v1 leaderboard in our server, and they are among the top 25 players. You can find them regularly. So they are going to feel pretty good with that. And also when you're bringing in the Mastermind, you usually have a lot of experience on that killer as well, not only because the Mastermind is played a lot in general. So for Calamity, this will be fine. A strong early game where they are usually pretty confident with, and then they can set up the pressure, and then it should be pretty good, I would say. On the other hand, Eunoia, knowing that you basically need 3 kills, not even 2 kills and 2 stages would be enough to make it 8, is also feeling okay. And you have seen in the previous trial with Raiden's Chase, for example, if you are playing the peak Eunoia gameplay, you can meet up with Calamity. You can run the killer of Calamity, establish generator progress, establish a nice amount of pressure. So Eunoia has this sign, and also I think it's important to mention that Eunoia earlier today won against Misery already. And when you are coming into the All Hallows League as a newcomer team, and then you are beating Kichase, the well-hyped Japanese guests, afterwards Misery, one of the biggest American teams, and now you realize in your Survivor game, we can keep up with the pressure of Calamity. I think this can turn into a very dangerous dynamic. So if Urushi is able to deny this strong run, I wouldn't chase Rocket, to be honest, because Rocket is one hell of a 1v1 player. So he's probably just going to serve the juice. But if you are able to deny Calamity this nice early game, set some pressure from the get-go early on, I think Eunoia can do something very beautiful for themselves here.
We'll have to look and see what they do. If I was the killer, I'd be a little bit scared of this team. I'll be completely honest. We've seen Calamity play, and their survivor players are cracked. We have seen them do a whole bunch of M1 killer chases, and because Mastermind sort of falls into that category, not a completely M1 killer, but when you have tight loops like that, you sort of have to play him when you can't use his dash too much to get a lot of value in chase. So the survivors here are definitely practiced. They knew what map they were going into. I know Dead Dog is a very popular map for just like regular M1 killer sets. You see Wraith on it all the time. And I'm pretty sure that Wraith was a popular pick for Calamity in the past. I might be wrong about that, but I have seen them play on that map, and they have it down to a science. They know exactly what they're going to do. So this might be one of those sets where it might seem like the game is just going to fly. It could be that the killer has something special in their back pocket for us to watch. I'm interested in the build. I don't believe you're going to be able to go for any sort of slugging strategy, though the killer might pull out some hex perks this season because the balance does allow for more stronger perks that are normally banned, like Blood Favor. It might be super interesting and kind of fun to bring those sort of hex perks. We don't see too many, like we've seen some pain reses, yes, but we don't see pop anymore, man. I miss Pop Goes a Weasel. It's just not as strong anymore, man. Can they rebuff it, please? I miss having it.
Yeah, it's a very valid wish that you are having there, and I think a lot of comp players would sign this petition immediately to make sure that it's still going to be considered by the developers. We seem to be good to go in the background. Rocket, Pedro, Oscar, and Hein on the survivor side, Urushi on the killer side. So we are going in to the trial. We are going to see the wonderful mastermind on the Dead Dog Saloon. Let's see how this game is going to be played. Let's see if Eunoia is able to pull something crazy for us. Again, 8 stages would be needed for Eunoia's killer here. It is certainly something where you say, we can make that happen. And on the other hand, you would think on the side of Calamity, 6 stages with a good early game chase, we can make a nice run, and then we have the needed pressure onto the generators. So let's see what's going to happen here in this case. We are all ready to go. We are getting used to the mastermind on the Dead Dog Saloon. Keep in mind, everyone, that Calamity selected this map known for a few surprises, known that they are taking the tactical advantage of things. So I do think that they considered a little bit, what does Eunoia not expect when we are talking about the mastermind. And Ray, I think it's fair to say that mastermind on Dead Dog Saloon is not really something that comes into your head as the first suggestion.
And you can definitely see Urushi went for a more classic build right here. Two perks that are just revolving around like chasing and hooking. You have brutal strength and agitation, maybe kicking themselves forward, bringing brutal, considering there's not a lot of forced kickable pallets. It's mostly just main. Main is such a huge time sink. Urushi used both bounds right there. And right here, the survivors already know what exactly their plan is because they're taking that first chase onto main, chasing Oscar, a survivor that I don't personally know very, very well. So I don't know what to expect, although it is Team Calamity. So I'm just going to expect all good things. Goes for a dash right there, doesn't have the distance to connect a hit on anybody. Even right here, chasing Oscar once again. But it's still on main. Yeah, this is already looking a little bit rough. The first chase happening over here, it always just takes so very long to get these first tags through. And we can already see they are having some generator progress over there on the Gallows. Oscar will be taking an M1 hit unless he can perform some sort of miracle. Oh, but this is also the Deliverance Survivor. So that could be that perk eliminated out of the game if the Wesker decides to commit to this, which is seeming like he is. Oscar makes it all the way down here to the water tower. This might be his preferred death spot away from all those other generators that the rest of the team is diligently working on. This is an incredibly fun and playable palette. Oscar doing a good job of lasting just a little bit longer in chase. Tries to go for a dash right there, and it does connect. Very well played by the killer player. Has agitation, so he has the freedom to hook wherever they choose. And it's just right there, right underneath where you went down. Hein up here is able to get the main generator almost completely done. Is being doubled with Rocket up there as well. We know that Pedro was busy working on Gallows, and it has a healthy amount of progress. Pain res did come through. However, so that generator regressed by 20%. But now we're on the chase of a completely new survivor all the way across the map from the hook, and it gets unhooked for free. And all the survivors are now about to be healthy. This is looking like it might be a little bit difficult for the killer.
Yeah, the difficulty is now going to rise. We talked about it, Ray, going into this trial. Calamity are known to be very, very strong runners. And if the early game is moving in the way Calamity wants it to be, then they are having a dynamic, then they are motivated, and then they are almost unstoppable. Really, really insane to see what they are bringing on the table. One generator so far without any punishment by the killer, with no control really, besides this one hook stage that we have on Oscar so far. Trying to catch Pedro here around the tile, going into the vault though. Pedro staying in control, being stronger with the mind games. I don't even know if Urushi knows where Adam is at the moment. He seemed to be confused. He completely lost that survivor. Generator number 2 is coming out in exchange, and generator number 3 is already on the way. This is the story of the third placed team in season 9. You can see the confidence, you can see the efficiency, you can see the teamwork when everything is falling together. Very, very insane to see that third generator coming out right here. Jake moving over towards the shack. Oscar trying to take the killer on a little bit of a run around the map. Keep in mind, everyone, this is the survivor who would be eliminated 2 stages from now, so not the worst survivor for Urushi to chase. Yet, Ray, when I'm looking at the efficiency that is coming out from Calamity, I'm not even sure if the elimination would come out in time. And also Oscar is presenting a very nice chase here.
Oh no! Tries to go for the body block hit, but was not able to get right in front in time. That's so unfortunate. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication right there. I don't know what this Wesker, just break out the walls, man. Please, just break out the walls. We've been at that tile for so long. It does get the second hook onto Oscar there. We'll be putting him into the struggle phase and 70 seconds away from being eliminated from this game. However, it might be 70 seconds too late because the other survivors are sitting on generators. They are getting progress. Rocket twirling his camera right there, making me dizzy, but is just sitting happily because they know that they've already have an incredibly good result. A generator does get done all the way across the map, and Urushi decides that they're not even going to try to camp that out. They're not going to try to force the 3v1. It could be good to get, but at this point, it's just too little too late. You only have 3 stacks, well, you have 3 stacks of pain res left, but those are basically your only slowdowns and way to pressure the map. Yes, you do have brutal strength, but how much does it really help you? He hasn't kicked, I don't think he's kicked like many pallets, if he's kicked any at all. I think he has kicked Shack, however, and that's like the only pallet. So that perk has basically gotten very little use. So yeah, this is a little bit of a tough spot. Urushi does find another survivor over here, but there's 4 of these gamers left in the game. And it's looking like they're going to be able to pressure that last generator and no problems, especially because all of these survivors are just doing such a good job in chase. Not one of these, I would say, is the weak link. And that is definitely something that Calamity is known for. They've got incredibly well-rounded players. Their survivors are very good at looping. So they are definitely confident in that they can play this a little bit aggressive. Look at that Hein, even right there. Look at that patience right there on the window. Does end up blocking it. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Wow.
Gets a dash upon him, but it doesn't even connect. That's what I mean. They're just so good in chase. It seems like they're so calm, cool, collected. And even here, they're just running out towards this generator, not even taking the reset time. The killer has to try to chase everybody at once, but it's just so hard to divide your attention, especially when you are Wesker, who's not an S tier killer.
Okay, the only thing I can imagine now is that somehow... Was that a DH?
I think that was, and it was so pixel perfect that the killer, the survivor's model.
DH after being grabbed basically, and no, this is so insane. This was the most perfect timing for a DH we have ever seen in Ray. I was just about to say the only miracle that I can see happening now for Team Eunoia is if he's somehow able to chain these injuries together. Oscar down, Pedro down, Rocket down, but with Oscar pixel timing his dead hard, Pedro going into the locker forcing the grab, I don't really see this as a possibility. The survivors will just move out over here. Taking 5 stages will be more than fine, or as Oscar staying in the trial, even that would be fine for now. Urushi knows that the survivors are over here, can just push them out. And that means we are going to see Calamity moving out with 3 survivors here, Pedro staying in. And that was honestly, Ray, a very impressive showing from Calamity. We talked about it. It was a win condition that is very possible for Eunoia, yet Calamity's survivor team turned it into something impossible.
They did a very good job. This was their set pick, however, so it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that they were going to win it. So now we are moving on to Eunoia's pick, which will be Huntress, a killer that we hardly ever see in the DBDLeague. She wasn't even in the killer pool last season, sadly. So we will definitely get to see her in all of her glory with this rule set. It can be a little bit rough because she is a slower 110% killer. So her map pressure might not be the best. I'm very interested to see which map they pick. I don't know it. I believe you know what it is. Don't spoil it or anything. I'm hoping it's something out of the ordinary. If we go back to Wrecker's Yard, I'm gonna be so sad because that's her standard map for everything. I personally love seeing her on maps like Dead Dog or even a McMillan map. Like Cold Tower would be interesting. I love that one mostly because I feel like it's an easier map for Huntress. And in this rule set, I just want her to do well, okay? I don't care which side plays better. I just want to see some cool hatchets. I want to see some interesting loops. Huntress is one of those characters that unfortunately ends up camping more because her map pressure is so bad. You can't just go across the map and immediately get like an insanely good chase, especially because like it just takes you forever to traverse the map. We will have to see. What are your predictions for this next match? Have you seen Eunoia play Huntress? Do they have a secret weapon in their arsenal?
No, not that I'm aware. I can imagine that Urushi is playing the Huntress. I can imagine him doing really well on that killer. And deep in my brain, there is a memory of Urushi playing the Huntress from, let's say, 2 years ago, maybe. I don't know if I'm even right with my memory or if it's a trick that my brain is currently setting up for me. But this seems to be something that I remember. And it seems like I'm right. Urushi is definitely going to take the killer responsibility as we see here. Ray, can you repeat for me again if you need to pick one map where you say this would be the pick where you see Eunoia being successful? Which one would it be?
I personally, I like Dead Dog. Dead Dog is a very interesting map for Huntress, and if you play it very well, you will have great success. That's the sort of map that I would definitely pick, not only because it's something outside the ordinary, but it's something you can definitely practice as that killer to get really good at. The loops you can do with main building in a certain way. You definitely can deal with loops in a better way. Though, because Calamity picked Dead Dog for their killer map, they definitely had a lot of practice on that. So I would have been really scared. But, you know, it's not like Eunoia knew that they were going to play that first map on Dead Dog. So I'm kind of rooting for them to not have picked that map. But I'm not really sure. You're kind of limited with Huntress. If you're picking a big map, you're kind of just shooting yourself in the foot because she doesn't do very well on bigger maps. So maybe a nice little Cold Tower. I think that would be a little interesting. It's not huge. It also doesn't have like insane chaining loops because there's a lot of line of sight that you can have in the middle of the map. Crossing against a Huntress can be a little dangerous because like if she can just get like one well-timed hatchet on you, then you can't go for the safe. That's also why she's known for camping, is because her campability is better than a lot of other killers, especially if you bring add-ons for it, such as like wind up, so you can get that hatchet up quicker, or cool down with an oak haft, which you can, you know, attack quicker after you throw a hatchet. Though usually nowadays we see Huntress players use like wind up and flight speed add-ons like Rose Root. So we'll have to see what the killer can cook up. There's a lot of different ways that this could go. I'm super interested. I'm also super interested to see the perks too. Because if you have free roam to do whatever, maybe you will step outside that classic Huntress build of just Corrupt Intervention, Agitation, Pain Res, and No Way Out, which is like what every Huntress uses because it's the best. So I'm very interested.
Yeah, I think from the gameplay, what you mentioned, I can totally understand. You smaller map, right? You can go for some. You don't have to go for too crazy snipes as well, because the smaller the map is, the more oversight you have of the generators. You can check where's the survivor. You don't have that much of a distance to snipe. And also on the smaller map, it is much easier to zone a survivor after a few resources have been taken out of the way. With the big maps, you would lose a lot of travel time following a survivor into a zoning area. Potentially, you are moving too far away from the generators then, and a lot of damage can just be done when they are bringing the Huntress all the way towards the corner of a map far away. Especially with these 4.4 killers, the size of the map is really, really important. I will be very interested what you are thinking about the map that we are seeing here, because I'm very interested. I don't want to spoil too much. It will be very interesting to see what you are having there. Marco, Rocket, Oscar, and Hein are taking the responsibility here. Honestly, when we see the very, very strong confidence that we have seen on the Mastermind, on the Dad Dog Saloon, and now they are going to play straight again, I do think we should see a very strong Calamity match here coming out. That being said, the survivors are getting ready at the moment. They seem to have a little bit of an issue with the lobby. It seems like I hope that the lobby bug is not coming back here for us. Ray, you talked about the perks a little bit when you said out of the box. Which perks were you talking about when you say a Huntress could go into something crazy, not taking the standard build? What would be something crazy where you would say, nice choice?
Okay. A perk that I wouldn't say is crazy, but is a very nice choice. I think we might see is Blood Favor, because Huntress has a famously quick cooldown after throwing a hatchet. Like, her movement speed isn't as stunted as if you hit with an M1 attack, a normal basic attack. You have a lot of movement, especially if you bring add-ons for it. So Blood Favor is a very good perk to throw on Huntress. If you can get a hatchet hit, your first one, and then the survivor doesn't have an exhaustion to immediately get like a huge amount of distance, they're stuck at a possible tile where the pallet is now blocked from being dropped. So that could be something that we see, a very, very real possibility of something happening like that. But I doubt we're gonna I doubt we're not gonna see Corrupt Intervention. You'd be almost a psychopath to not bring that perk. So I'm betting I really hope there's Blood Favor. If there's not Blood Favor, I feel like that would be even more surprising. Even if someone just brought Blood Favor and nothing else, because with Huntress, the first chase matters so much. You want to get those hook stages rolling, because like I said earlier, she's a very good camping killer. So the quicker you can camp, the better off you'll be. So I would be very surprised if we didn't see a Blood Favor, especially because Yurushi, their team, Eunoia, did pick this killer. Okay, I'm about to see the map. Oh, interesting. Oh, man. Oh, they brought Bamboozle. Oh, that's interesting. I hardly ever see Huntresses bring Bamboozle, but that might be a map pick as well. Especially because main building here has the potential to spawn an insanely good window. So they are just not taking any chances. They have Pain Res, Corrupt Intervention, and Agitation. That could be interesting. I didn't even think about this map. I don't know why, but this could be a really good map. Oh my god, immediately loses the Atom. Marco with the pathing is immediately invisible and completely disappears. Oh, but is this Rocket? This is not even the same survivor. Oh my god, it's Oscar. He is over here. Oh, wait, no, Marco's over here as well. We can see the little chase entity tentacle things. Oh, holding the hatchet forever. You'll love to see it. Tries to go for it. Oh, my God, they have double halved. Ooh. That is not something I see. Also, spicy hatchet. Love to see it. Does get a tag right there, but doesn't even commit to that chase. Instead, goes for Hein, who is over here. These add-ons could lead to something dastardly. We'll have to see. Oh, nice good hatchet right there. So you know what? Blood Favor? Blood Favor would have prevented that pallet from being brought down. I don't know what to say. Ooh. Yeah,
I definitely see the potential for the Blood Favor here that you mentioned on this pallet especially. I was really unsure how you will feel about this map, since you mentioned a lot of them that are especially small father campers can be tricky, but here we see a lot of knowledge though, that's for sure. Orochi with a nice snipe, you mentioned it, the main building having the counterplay with the Bamboozle. Might regret later on that the Blood Favor is not being brought, but when he goes for nice hatchets like these, using all the little holes and all the little cracks in the loops, then he might find himself able to not need the Blood that favor. Unfortunately, not hitting Marco here, who was working on the main building generator, but we already have an injury and the first down, so the pressure from the killer side definitely already starting here. You can feel good about that relatively quick down as well. We haven't even used the pain res yet that we have on Heinz, so this is something that Urushi can use later on. He doesn't have the greatest 3-gen on the top side here. One is really outsourced towards the right side of the midsection, so you don't really have this camping advantage inside of a 3-gen. Yet I think Urushi can be happy with the start so far.
Oh, look at that! Oh, that was so good! That was add-on value, baby. The Huntress, because she's running double halved, was able to just pull up another hatchet so insanely fast. And look at that, not even the decisive strike survivor. That is huge for the killer. Very, very well played. Has agitation, able to put that survivor wherever they want. And now they know that that is not a decisive strike survivor. Dude, was Rocket the one to save? Was he the deliverance survivor? Was he the one there? I can't remember.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't even get deli from that. Huh.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate when you don't have the deli ready to go. You certainly have another attempt onto Hein here, and Urushi would also really like to have a rehook onto Hein because we still haven't used the Scorch Hook Pain Resonance to get a little bit of generator control here. The difficulty is now, since Calamity was so efficient that they got out 3 generators, I don't think they worry about Hein too much. In worst case, you can let this survivor die because you already have 50% over here on this generator as well. Of course, though, Rocket would really love to have the Deliverance, and very often Deliverance is paired with the... No! This is going to cost the game almost here. They do have the UB in case something is happening, but Hein will most likely die on hook now. Deliverance is denied. Ray, this is a turn of the entire trial now.
You know what? We might be sleeping on the double halved because that was insane. Able to just, they were already in the unhook animation. You can't save if you have double half right there. The cooldown is so fast. Rocket trying to get that last second save, and instead he just dies, and he doesn't have deli. You know, oh my god, and now didn't even use the Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. I swear to god, I think all of their hooks are probably on the other side of the map. That's what you get when you bring a perk like this, though, is slightly RNG based. A little bit sad, but Urushi might not be that upset just yet because they have this sort of 3-gen here at the carnival side, and the survivors, one of them is injured. Oscar definitely has to take the time to heal, and they're not even pressuring generators at the moment. Urushi is looking around, seeing if a survivor did stealth around here. However, we know that they are across the map. This is a dangerous situation for the survivors. What I bet the survivors will end up doing... Oh, no! Didn't need to do! They should have taken that. That's huge, and now they can't get the save. Oh man, I don't know what's gonna happen this game, but this killer is cooking.
Urushi is cooking indeed with this crazy comeback that he allowed himself, with Hein being eliminated now, no deliverance onto Rocket. Rocket even going into the second stage, right? There's so many hook stages connected to this one mistake. And then of course it's not only the hook stages, the generator efficiency is reduced as well, because you were really trying to get your 4th survivor back in the trial. Now at the moment you only have 2 of them. Oscar and Marco are the 2 survivors that need to take care of the generators. And I was thinking for a second, with all the pokers that we have in the game, there was definitely a realistic chance that this is going to happen here. Now you have only 3 survivors standing. All of them are injured. The generator pressure is going down to 0. Marco is going down on the floor as well. The only good news about this survivor is that he is a fresh hook and that he's bringing 2 minutes and 20 seconds of hang time. But Ray, Calamity is really struggling. This one mistake has such an effect on the rest of the trial. I'm starting to get worried.
And you should be, because that survivor Rocket was still kind of slinking around here. Oh no! No! Rocket, no! He could be dead here. Let's see what the Huntress has to cook. Oh, goes for a hatchet right there. Is not able to connect it. Ooh, goes for another one right there. Is not able to connect that one either. We're going to see a pre-drop. We are not. A save does happen onto the survivor on the hook, but they need to double a generator right now, and they need to double it fast because Rocket here, he is definitely close to an elimination. However, the patience here around this pallet, are we going to see a drop? We are not going to see a drop just yet. Rocket playing his cards. We know that he's a credible 1v1 player. Yep, and the Huntress knows exactly what's happening, that they are wasting time over there. It would be incredible to get the elimination onto Rocket, yes, but Oscar and Marco over here have not healed. They were instead just doubling the generator, so the Huntress can get everybody here down. Oh, going for a pain rest hook. I'm willing to bet. Yep, yeah, see, there's one of the hooks over here. That is for sure going to perform some regression on the generator with the most progress. That can be good, and the other two survivors are still injured, meaning that they are one hit away from dying, and I would be scared of this Huntress. Her hatchets are just insane. What are you doing?
Yeah!
Oscar! Open your eyes, man! He just ate that hatchet for free! And now Rocket, the last man standing, will he be able to get past this Huntress? I would not be willing to bet on it. These hatchets are flying. We'll have to see. Sniffs him out right there. That is so unfortunate. Able to get a little bit of pathing distance, but you know what? A Rocket will need to perform a miracle, and it does not happen. Oh my God, there, that snowball at the end was just immaculate. Very well played by the Huntress. Did a very good job of just taking advantage of the calamity that was happening on Team Calamity.
Are you being influenced by me and my puns now, Ray?
I think unfortunately so. Yep.
Is this a trauma and only an oracle can tell us if they will have a recovery from this? Well, that was definitely a rough for Team Calamity. One person that deserves a lot of credit is me. Because I remembered that Urushi on Huntress was playing a couple of years ago in tournaments already and was really strong. I'm proud of myself for remembering this. And now I also remember why I remembered, because he was known for performances like this. And that's why it was in my head throughout all these years, at least there in the back. That Urushi is a name that together with the Huntress definitely rings a bell. So shout out to Direwolf here, giving us the facts about the past of competitive Dead by Daylight. Ray, you're great as well. Don't worry.
Oh yeah,
while
thanks.
While we're watching the end game, Mori here, I have a very important question towards you though, because I don't think we need to discuss it really. You are the Huntress expert. How do you play it now in the upcoming trial? Calamity, I'm not even sure. I will be very honest. I don't know who's going to take the Huntress on Team Calamity, because they don't have this Huntress player that sticks out to me. So this will be already interesting to counter. But how do you approach it now on the side of Calamity? Do you try something risky, some snipes maybe, or how do you play a trial where you must go for 4K?
I think, so in a situation such as this Huntress did a very, very good job of capitalizing on a 3-gen scenario. She foregoed Scourge hooks just to camp a 3-gen. She basically played almost that entire game without any slowdowns. That's an incredible kind of feat to see. But there was a slight difference that could lean towards in the favor of Calamity. The first down didn't happen until I wouldn't say very, very long, but it wasn't a quick down. So what Team Calamity could try to do is just try to go for that really, really fast down. I mean, obviously you want that in any game, but that was definitely the sort of route that you would want to take to try to meet or beat this result. You can also try to take advantage of 3-gen scenarios just like that. This map is known for its 3-gens, especially on the carnival side that we saw. That 3-gen wasn't even as tight as they can come. So we'll definitely have to see if they will be able to sort of capitalize on it. Maybe they won't be able to beat this result, but they could meet it. They could meet it with a 4K with one generator remaining to possibly go to tiebreaker. It does go to tiebreaker, right? We don't replay the set immediately.
We would go to tiebreaker, yeah.
Okay, so if they do even tie this result, then that means that Calamity doesn't like they're still in for like taking another result. So we'll have to see if they can do this. I'm very interested to also see who is their Huntress player. I don't think I've seen Calamity play a Huntress set in so very long. I'm pretty sure like Laser was on Calamity, if he still is, and he did not like Huntress. Granted, Huntress can be obnoxious when it's cross ping, especially with like wind up add-ons or flight speed add-ons. So it might be that like they don't care as much now that it's same ping, but we'll definitely have to see. It's definitely going to be a little bit harder to meet that incredible performance by that Huntress player because of the perks allowed. But you know, this is Team Calamity. We've seen them pull off some crazy stuff. We have seen their Survivor performance, and now we will see their killer performance. Actually, that is we can see in the lobby right now, and that's not somebody that I recognize playing for Calamity. Granted, I don't know everybody, so you might.
Oh boy, yeah. OBII is coming from Team OBII, and when OBII then disbanded, a lot of their players basically found shelter in other teams, and OBII moved over to Team Calamity. So you are certainly right. Your knowledge is on track. OBII is usually not someone who we see on Calamity, and also not on the Huntress. I'm not too familiar with the OBII Huntress. That doesn't mean that what we are about to witness isn't insane and great, but it doesn't ring a bell like Urushi, basically, because there, as soon as I heard Huntress and Urushi, there was this connection, and I felt like something was there. I would like to take 1 second while the players are readying up to address a different topic. Short break, if you want so, and that is saying a thank you, because when we are on 10 minutes delay, it's always really difficult to say thank you to a lot of people that are providing support to the stream. And while we have a minute now, it's definitely time to do that. So we have noticed this insane amount of subscriptions and cheerings today throughout the day, this incredible support that allows us to host these tournaments or cover the costs of a good production. We are looking into some improvements every single time. So for example, very often the lobby time is not an improvement we can make because the lobbies are crashing, the servers are crashing, or we sometimes have to wait on the players or a caster that is currently on the loo, if you want to say it like this. We are trying our best. We are looking into some improvements in terms of instant replay feature and other things coming up in other tournaments. So no promises, but at least we are investigating into that direction. Nonetheless, even if there is no technical jump for the next tournament, a prize pool needs to be covered. A volunteer organization is basically putting in what we make through the ads in the Twitch. And then we are having our prize pool and everything that is collected by the community. So thank you a lot for this insane amount of subs and cheers today. DBDLeague only lives by the support from the community, by anyone who's watching the ads, anyone who's subbing, donating, cheering, and of course the players as well that are sometimes really trying to play with a sub roster, trying to make the content happen as well, because this is just as important. And then every single one of you who's always coming around, being really friendly and supportive. And I felt like it is a good moment to take the chance to say thank you to all of you, because you really make DBDLeague possible. And then to Xeno, Nightlight for the big raids today as well, certainly also an impact when we are talking about supporting DBDL. Thank you so much, guys. So we are going to load into the potentially last trial, but only if Calamity represented by OBII is able to achieve a 4K2, and I think it's safe to say, even though I'm not a Huntress expert, 4K2 in comp with the Huntress, that's a tough task.
It's a tough task, but you know, maybe if the killer has one favor, maybe they do. Maybe they'll need it. So I do want to take a second. Apologize. Sorry. I know your name. Okay, I couldn't read it because the bit rate. He's got blood favor. I told you. He's cooking. Look at this build. Doesn't even have corrupt intervention. This is going to be interesting. Actually, has crowd control. Okay, so it's got the 5 stacks. And when survivors vault windows, the stack that's used and that totem is blocked until they cleanse that totem. So that's what it does. I think that's the name of it. But has blood favor, which blocks pallets, has crowd control, which blocks windows. That's gonna be a dastardly combo against the survivor. And look at those add-ons. It has Babushka and Rose Root. That's gonna be so hard to dodge. Like, it's basically like hit scan. And look at this blood favor value. That could have happened last game. Oh, one of them got cleansed. It was crowd control, not even blood favor. Except the Huntress is like 110%, so like it's gonna be so hard to just catch up. Look at that, even just like hugging all those corners. Except OB is able to get that down. Blood favor blocking that pellet. A pellet save is not possible. They still have Hex Ruin up, so if OB can pressure the survivors off of these generators, that will cause them to regress. Metox is here, stealthing for the save with Deliverance. They are over here trying to play around pain res. Little do they know that there is none. There is no pain res, just Grim Embrace. We'll see what the Huntress plans on doing. If you guys are new to DBDLeague and comp, the survivors are not allowed to take the self-unhook even if the meter is filled out. I don't know why, maybe just because that's newer and we've built this entire DBDLeague comp stuff around people not self-unhooking, because that's just like insanely strong. Oh, tries to go for a hit right there. That tree is actually so perfectly placed. Oh, Obi's still trying to go for it. Man, needs a better crosshair. We will definitely see OB camping right here. That was a quicker down than what happened last game. Oh, look at that! Perfectly triggers Grim Embrace as well, blocking the generators, and nobody is able to get over here and get the save without being at a huge risk. Even though the killer does not have double halved like last game, they are on top of a hill. So the cooldown for throwing a hatchet is enough that if Obi were to get the hit while the survivor was at the base of the hill, they are not going to have enough time to get up and unhook that survivor safely. So it looks like Arushi will be going to struggle. How dare you kill us with Huntress last game? This is Obi getting revenge for his teammates. A generator does get done, and a lot of them, other ones have progress. So they are taking advantage of the 70 seconds of a survivor staying up there to just sit on generators. However, this generator is super close to the hook, so Obi is able to get in there and pressure them off of it, causing it to regress with Hex Ruin. Metox there doing a good job of dodging that hatchet. Obi is checking to make sure nobody is sneaking around for the save. Oh, look at that movement, not taking any tags. That's so good for the survivor team. Obi will definitely have to pull out something great here, but Arushi is almost dead. So that'll be a death with not too much generator progress, I should say. Although it is 2 gens or about 50, I would say.
Yeah, some good pressure for sure here on the survivor side, especially this main building. The only thing that we need to keep in mind is that Arushi, our wonderful Huntress player, is unfortunately about to be eliminated right here. So we are going to say goodbye to Nancy. It has been a blast. The responsibility is now on Sponge, Metox, and Axley here. We need at least 4 generators to reach the tie. So far we are having 2, so we are on half time to reach the tie condition. I do really feel like Eunoia should aim for the win here. After such a great performance that we have seen from Arushi, you really don't want to have anything in terms of a tie moving into set number 3 or even losing it with a 2-0. I feel like none of this would really feel fair here. So Eunoia can hopefully find the necessary pressure and the long enough chases to make sure that they are going for a run. Obi trying to find the next survivor, has located Axley over here. That is our Claudette. Quick injury coming out. Blood favor doing exactly what Ray described earlier, blocking off the pallet, making sure that the survivor does not have the resource to work with, and Obi just able to go for the M1. The question is now, can you go for the hook, or will we see a slug instead? Obi wants to take the hook stage that he has earned for himself. We will take a look onto the generators. They are scattered out a little bit, especially the one in the circus area will be difficult. 50% already over there. So Ray, I would say we should 100% see the tie here.
The Huntress did a wonderful job in forcing it right there. The survivors, if they want to win, they would have to go on a little bit of a longer chase, but because Blood Favor is a lethal perk and it is still up, it could be really difficult. We can already see the Babushka Rose Root effect here, where dodging around hatches is way harder. Yep, see right there? Oh no, Blood Favor is gonna leave that in incredibly dangerous. Oh my god. Ace with the skinny thighs, but will still be going down, unfortunately. That add-on combo is just incredibly difficult to play against, even on same ping. The survivor does get away with their decisive strike, just making it all the way across the map. If the Huntress wants to come all the way over here, it is going to be a trek. And she does have this generator that is regressing with Ruin. She could just stay here to try to camp it. However, this is very, very far away from any sort of 3-gen, and 2 generators actually have quite a decent bit of progress, so I don't know if Obi can afford to just camp this. Especially, oh, look at that progress! It might be that these survivors can bang out this generator and secure a win.
Yeah, let's see back on the main building. We have seen the pressure earlier. They are now able to make the move here, getting more and more done. Let's see, currently trying to get the generators out of the way. Sponge about to hit the second stage here. We are moving into the shack, trying to get it without an injury. Successful with that.
Oh no.
Making sure that we are not taking too much of trouble here. Metox taking the injury and the down as well. Very, very strong work by the survivor team. And this is just insane to watch how quick these Huntresses can make a move here. We will see the survivor going immediately back into the basement. And that's going to be now a couple of generators being out for that as a punishment. We need to restart the screen share real quick in the background. So now we are back with the information what's happening in the trial. Metox on the hook. Fresh hook, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Oxley and Sponge, both injured. And since they didn't heal, I do believe they are currently trying to pressure the generator. But Ray, very tricky for the Huntress. Deliverance coming out, and that will be punishing.
Yeah, Deliverance, and then also Grim Embrace is blocking these generators. Oh, but she finds the reset. They were able to reset Claudette there, but Sponge is still in danger. Oh, very wonderful patience by Obi right there. This is a win condition right here, though. Like, oh no, Obi, slug him, no! It's gonna be too late. Huntress is too slow. She can't get up there to pressure it. Even if she were to throw hatches through this, yeah, there it is. There it is. There's the win condition met. Very, very well played by these survivors. They were able to beat that 3-generator Huntress strat, and that will be securing the win for Eunoia right here in this set, which means we're going to the tiebreaker.
We are indeed taking set number 3. Team Eunoia is really, really shining. They can be so proud of themselves, winning the Weekend Cup, getting into AHL along the big names, then winning against Kichase, winning against Misery, and now even if they only get into the tiebreaker against Calamity, even if they would lose it now, this is so impressive to score this against, yeah, it's just wow. It's really, really great to see that. Metox here on the second stage. I don't think they will worry too much about that. Survivor spawn. Oh, they're still unhooked because now they are on the grind here in the end game. But I think Eunoia is writing a really wonderful story for them. Obi here. Yeah, we were not too familiar with his Huntress. I think he tried what was possible. Ray, how do you judge this Huntress performance?
It was still a good performance. I would say this is something that I would kind of guess is like a more standard result that you would see for a Huntress in this rule set. It is very, very fun to see like the difference in perks, but I would say that the playstyle of the Huntress last game definitely made up for like good I don't want to say she barely got use out of pain res, right? I can't say like that perk actually got her insanely good value. So they just made up with their insane plays, their add-ons, their macro as well. I love finishing out with a little bit of a Mori here, but very, very well played. And I would say from past experiences watching Calamity, it does seem like they have the upper hand when it comes to regular M1 killers looping, which can be kind of concerning because our last set is Clown. So this is not over till it's over, and I would be a little bit scared because I've definitely seen some Calamity 1v1 players definitely make it a little bit difficult for just regular looping killers. So it might have been they just never expected the Huntress. They didn't expect Huntress on this map. They were unprepared. But in the last tiebreaker set, everybody is on even footing. They know the killer. They know the map beforehand, so they can practice that as much as they need. We also know the map, right? I'm not going to spoil anything by saying it, right? Or does the audience know?
The tiebreaker map is totally fine.
Yeah, I can say it, right?
You can.
Okay. It's Clown on ARP. I don't know if you guys let people know beforehand. The teams know, so it's not like a big deal. I'm not like spoiling anything too crazy. ARP is going to be... I don't want to say it's a good map for Clown. It can be kind of rough. We did see last season when you guys did a little bit of different balancing and had Demogorgon on Azeroth's resting place, which is the map that's shaped like a bone, right? It's got the skinny middle and then it's got some squares on the ends. So it's very good for defending 3 gens, but seeing lower tier killers on it is very interesting because they don't have insane map pressure. So if one of the survivors takes a hit, runs to the other side of the map, that's gonna be too hard to deal with, especially in this balancing too, where a whole bunch of perks are allowed. You have Deli, you have Unbreakable, you have all the exhaustion perks that are not normally allowed against lower tier killers like the Clown. So this next game, it's gonna be rough on the killers, that's for sure. I'm not expecting a 4K, but you know, I would be happy if we got one. Let's just say it's gonna be kind of difficult, and they are definitely going to have to work for it.
And important to mention as well, I know that it's a little bit mean, but Calamity has a little bit of a trauma when it comes to the Clown. At least Laser. The only thing I'm going to mention is Pale Rose, Shack Palette, Clown. And then the old core of DBDL, the try-hard viewers that are always here, they will know what I'm talking about. And if you're currently not knowing what I'm talking about, maybe there's someone as nice to explain it, because that was definitely a scene that is still in the comp scene and in the archives since a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going on a quick break, and we will show you the Clown set right after a very short break. Welcome back, everyone. We are here with the Clown on the ARP, and a few things for the intro. Shack Palette, Pale Rose, Laser. And now we have the picture back in our minds. Calamity with a little bit of a Clown trauma from a tournament a long time ago. But let's hope that it's all better just now. Rocket is responsible for that and already has a pretty good first hit, and together with that it's also going to be the yellow bottle that is going to be a little bit of a quicker zooming around the map here. And Ray, down there I'm spotting a coup de grace.
Coup de grace is a very interesting perk. Normally it is banned in tournaments just because it's so insane. I don't know. It's just usually a banned perk. So maybe we'll be seeing some incredible usage by Rocket. We can already see he feels in his element when he is playing an M1 killer. That was a nasty first down right there. Has a slowdown perk of Grim Embrace, but that is the last one that he has. He brought Hex, No One Escapes Death, and coup de grace, a chase perk, hopefully trying to get as many downs, hits, and hook stages as possible. Oh my god, he's got a Frosty Ice cosmetic as well. That's pretty good, I like it. This survivor right here, whose name I have been avoiding saying because I don't know how, does have finesse and live and is able to circumvent getting a tag right there. However, look at this. Oh, just dies underneath the pallet. Look at that. That's hilarious. Oh no, and just made it way too obvious. If he had died underneath the pallet while doing some crazy maneuvers, maybe it wouldn't have been so obvious that the survivor was right there, trying to go for a pallet save to try to delay the first down happening. Look at this, somebody already on struggle before a first generator gets done. If we see a Clown 4K, I swear to God, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Clown 4K would definitely be crazy, especially with the Survivor team having access to so many perks and so many different strategies that are linked to that. So we can only hope that Urushi is getting saved here, rescued anytime soon, and then having either some team members that are helping him or making sure that he's having a long run. Urushi here 30 seconds away from the elimination. Claudette taking a, if you're asking me, not so needed injury, and the generators are something that I'm really worried about, because a Clown that is about to have an elimination with 4 generators standing, if Rocket is able to stop this here, this would be really insane and shouldn't really happen. So now all the responsibility and the pressure is on Urushi. Let's see if that's going to be successful. We are going to move over here towards the shack, trying to make sure that the distance is increased, dropping the shack pallet for that. Rocket doesn't really have the choice, has to sacrifice the pallet and destroy it, which is giving Urushi a little bit of extra time, but not so much, as it seems like Rocket is already back on the side of the survivor, and coup de grace coming into clutch. What a hit, Ray. This was beautiful.
We can already tell Rocket is feeling good about that one, and he should, because a hit like that could save you so much time, especially because if you consider maybe another survivor would have rotated in for a body block hit, that could have been so much more time that would have just been invested in that chase, and instead gets coup de grace value. I can see now why it's usually banned. Look how OP it is. Gets that down. The elimination has happened. Now there's only 3 generators remaining. This one is a little bit higher than half progress, but look at that. Who's in the distance? It's the Clown. Kenneth is coming, and he is he's here. He's kicking the generator, trying to play around this building here. We'll see if maybe he gets some more insane coup de grace value. That is something that I would love to see. Uses Light to create that distance. Will be getting at least another loop, but decides to go for a different pallet over here. We'll see what Rocket cooks up with this chase. It's a little bit faster. Oh, tries to use coup de grace, but instead gets the pallet stun right there. Very, very well played. Tries to go for another swing, but it's another miss. The Claudette is doing such a good job of reading Rocket's movements. Now the Clown should only have about 1 bottle left. Yes, that is it used. We'll see what the Claudette decides to do. Is she gonna vault? Oh! Very good job right there. Fix the bottle, reload. It is just enough to make the Claudette hesitate, and she will be going down. Very well played. This is another survivor up on the hook, but that was a lot of time wasted. And now they have this generator, which is all the way across the map as well, with a healthy amount of progress. Metox giving us some wonderful teabags to show that they are hidden and they are ready to go for the save. If Rocket can find this rotation and get the survivor, that would be really bad news. Oh my god, the pathing! That is something to write home about. Able to avoid the line of sight by a small little margin right there can make the biggest difference. Laura takes shooting down over there with the sprint burst and is able to get that save for almost free. Not even going to be injured when they get the save. Yeah, that's incredible. Now Sponge will be able to get that generator done. There are 2 gens on this side. I didn't see where the third and last one is, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to split the map. Yep, there it is. The last generator is over there in Shack. So very good by the survivors. Even though they had an elimination early, they did not let that pressure get to them. And they are now back on the generators, trying to get those done. We'll see what Rocket can do. Possibly not going to be able to secure the 4K, but the game's not over yet. We'll have to see.
Yeah, Claudette here in the difficult situation. Ku again making sure that they are not able to reach the pallet. Very nice usage. At the very beginning, when we saw it the first time in comp, I was like, is this going to be a meme build or is it supposed to be a surprise? But now when we are looking at it, there is actually some really strong benefit laying in this perk. Let's see that we are going to move over here. We see how Rocket is also playing these loops. He's placing the yellow bottle perfectly to get the speed advantage when we're talking about these loops. And Mathis is in a difficult situation for the Clown. This is not going to be the safest pallet for the Survivor team, especially when the Survivors are slowed down. And coup de grace striking once again. Eunoia seems to be a little bit overwhelmed at the moment. The pressure that Rocket is applying here with the Clown is really strong, Ray. And honestly, I do think it's fair to say that it's realistic that Rocket is setting Calamity up for a 4K here.
The Clown 4K! He does still have Hex No and Escape Step, the sneaky little back pocket trick, especially if Rocket is able to find Sponge, who is the last stack for Grim Embrace. So that could block all of those generators for a good amount of time for Rocket to possibly even find another survivor. Mathis and the Claudette are first hook. So neither of them are actually close to death, but this is the Deli survivor, and granted, you never see Deli and Deliverance together, though Rocket is playing a little bit safe. They're getting a little bit quicker to the hook. This is not the last Grim stack, however, but this is a survivor who is 70 seconds away from being let go out of this game. They do have a lot of generator progress, however. Earlier when I was talking about this map and how M1 killers suffer, it is also just because of its size. You have to trek so very far to the other side of the map just to defend generators. See right here, Rocket, he's torn between wanting to camp to try to get another survivor out of the game and also just prevent the last generator from getting done. However, if it does get done, he does get a nice little no-ed trick right there. He can't just sit right here. He's watching to see where Sponge is rotating for the save. And this is on purpose too, because you don't want Sponge to be the one working on the generator close by because he's the last Grim stack. And if you get that last Grim stack before that last generator is done, that is not very good news. Mathis is very close to being let go, but this generator is about to be done. If it gets done before... Oof. I was gonna say before the save happens, that could be a no-edge strike, and that would definitely be a 4K. But, we'll have to see. They're purposely not doing it. There we go. You know what? That was incredibly well played by the survivors. They scouted out the no-ed. They didn't know what the last perk was. So that way Ace would be taking that hit, giving himself a little bit of boost. It wouldn't have mattered if he, was injured or not because of Hex No One Escape Step. This is the prime target for the last survivor getting up on hook because he's worth the most stages. This will not be resulting in a miracle 4K, but it was close enough for me. That is a healthy amount of stages for a Clown on this map in this rule set.
Yeah, Sponge going to say goodbye to us as well, but very great to see Maddox and Alxley escaping. It is going to leave a sour taste, Ray, that we are talking about a fresh hook here that is going on to the hook. So this is overall going to be 9 stages, and this is still going to be rough, right? When you're talking about basically 3 kills, the equivalent of 3 kills being achieved by Rocket for Team Calamity here, and all that on 4 different survivors. survivors. So what we need to see from Eunoia's killer on the upcoming trial is the 10-stage game, basically 3 full kills and 1 stage of the final survivor. So essentially you could even say a 4K when you are talking about the amount of hook stages and adding something on survivor number 4. Definitely going to be a tough task. ARP, we have seen it, Rocket played it very, very wonderfully, has made a lot of great moves with the coup de grace, was able to really zone the survivors, was using the yellow bottles around the loops really perfectly, knowing exactly when he needs a little bit of a sprint, when he doesn't really need it, and I felt like he was so efficient on chasing these survivors that right now, out of the top of my head, I barely see any room where Eunoia could be better, right?
This will be really difficult for the killer, especially because the team they're going against, Calamity, has a track record of demolishing demos on ARP. And I wouldn't say that Clown is too much better in terms of strength. So this is definitely looking like it's going to be a rough one for the survivors. No, I'm just kidding. We'll have to see what they can do if they're able to, not get 4K'd. But, it's Calamity we're talking about. We'll have to see what the plan of the killer is for a build as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something just incredibly similar. Probably Corrupted Invention in Noad. That's sort of a given. Maybe we'll see a Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. Like last game, Grim Embrace does not get value unless you hook all 4 people. Like, it just feels like it gets barely any value because, like, yeah, you do get, like, a slight regression every time you hook one survivor individually, and it is, like, it's not nothing, but it's just not as good as if you were to get the 4 stages. So I see a lot of comp players use it, but it doesn't even end up getting the full result. So I'm not sure if this killer will plan on bringing it as well. I don't think they brought it in their previous games. So we'll have to see. They might be cooking up something special for us. Or maybe we'll see more coup de grace. That'd be interesting. I'm not entirely sure what to expect, though. What are you thinking will happen?
I definitely think that Eunoia needs to be on point now with the chases. And this has been something that we have seen struggling a little bit when we are talking about how good Calamity was applying the pressure, right? So earlier we were really able to take the control in the first set with the Mastermind. It was really struggling for them. And when we are talking about the Huntress, yeah, there was the wiggle room, but even there, we have seen them struggling a little bit after having a down. It was not that clear as we wanted them to be. So the early game needs to be on point. Now, we also pointed out earlier that a lot of the Calamity survivors are on the DBDL ladder, on the 1v1 leaderboard. They are perfect in chase. They are practicing every single millimeter of every single loop. So they are one hell of a confident survivor team, and I think there lays the key. The first chase somehow needs to be a quick down of a Calamity survivor. And if Eunoia's killer is able that, will decide for the rest of the game who's playing in the position of an advantage and who's taking a disadvantage. So the responsibility for Urushi is also very, very high, yet he's taken it on the Mastermind. He's taken it on the Huntress. He has performed really, really well. Hopefully he can continue this confidence that he got from the Huntress game, because then I feel like there's a very huge potential that we see a confident Clown game. What you can also try as Team Eunoia is, when you are having the first down, carry the survivor into one of the edges, top or bottom, and then kind of use the map shape, right? Because ARP allows you as a killer a little bit to control who's on the top side at the moment, who's working on the generators there, who's crossing this midsection, because it's a little bit shaped like a bottleneck. So if Urushi would be able to get a nice hook stage at the top or the bottom side, in best case in a corner of the map, and then kind of protecting a 3 or 4 gen while holding the bottleneck, I think then he has a pretty good strategy for himself.
That is something that they will have to try and force. We're having the survivors join up in the lobby. It's taking a moment. Please join and ready, survivors. We have hit tiebreakers all day. So we've been live for a really long time. Although I've only been casting for 2 of the matches, but I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted, Dyer. What about you? Are you holding up good? You're complaining to me earlier about how you yap all the time and you just don't want to yap anymore.
Had 6. I took all 6 matches this weekend. I'm tired as well, of course. It is really unfortunate that this server issue, this lobby issue is hitting us today. Maybe just as an explanation real quick, we understand, ladies and gentlemen, that it's not great when we have a long downtime. And we also understand that Ray and me yapping during the break is not as exciting as actual gameplay. We totally get it. And yeah, when you're looking at it, you might say, well, the builds are locked. The teams know what's happening. Why does it take so long? I understand all of it. I can only invite you to join behind the scenes, and maybe we'll make in Germany, we would say a day of the open door where you can just freely walk around and take a look. We have lobby crashes. We need to restart. The kill your friends mode is really not receiving a lot of love from the developers. You can tell by the Wraith skin. You can tell by the bugged Plague skin. You could tell that 10-month we had a very, very severe FPS stuttering on the killer side. You can tell when we are talking about things like the producer being kicked sometimes, when we are talking about the freezing killer, when you're switching the POV at this wrong moment, maps turning darker. So this mode in general is not receiving the biggest love. It is not possible to predict everything. It's not possible sometimes to set up the map. It's not about the players. They are inviting immediately when we are coming out of the trial. Our producer is instantly pinging. But when a player has to restart 2 or 3 times, and we need 3 different lobbies to finally load in, and then on the way of loading in, sometimes we realize we lost a survivor, there is not much we can do. I know that it sounds like a bad excuse, like a student that didn't do the homework and is now on the way to school cooking up who to blame. But unfortunately, this is the reality, and we are trying to make it as quick as possible. We promise, but sometimes it doesn't work faster. So here we are finally, though. Rushi taking it for Team Eunoia, needs 10 stages. The Know It might actually come in clutch there.
This is more of a standard build that I would say. This is a build that, like, you would also see even if, like, a whole bunch of perk bans were to happen. All this is like a standard clown build. We're not seeing anything like coup de grace. I'm a little sad. But this might still be a cooking build. We have the survivors who are already about to be in chase right here. Oh my god, Hein right there commits to it and instead takes a tag. Even Arushi was a little bit surprised. Now they have Rapid Brutality activated. You gain, I think it's like 5% speed for 10 seconds, something along those lines. So catching up to a survivor after the first tag is made just a tiny bit easier in the exchange that you are not allowed to have bloodlust. Hein makes it to another safe pallet. Shack pallet is already gone. Zoning the survivors over here will be trying to get another tag, but decides to just leave Hein. Is over here with all the corrupted generators, so the survivors have had time to cross and start working on the ones that are unblocked. So Arushi here will be trying to go for another tag onto the survivor who is Rocket, a scary survivor to chase. We'll have to see what comes of it. Arushi takes a tag right there, and it's just going back to the gens. We're just giving out tags for absolutely nothing, for free.
There we are now going to be around the main building here, trying to be quick as possible with the survivors here, trying to spread the injuries, the downs, trying to go onto the hook stages. But so far, Arushi is trying a lot and he injures a lot, but the hook stages are missing. And linked to that are unfortunately also the pain rest stacks. First generator already coming out, so it's not going to be the easiest task right here. Rocket is being healed and Hein as well. Ray, the entire progress so far, besides a few pallets, is now completely denied.
And I can't say that I'm too surprised. This map is full of pallets. It's full of stuff. So it is not entirely incredibly surprising that there's enough resources for these survivors to delay these downs that are happening, especially because we've seen Calamity play previously on ARP, and they do a very good job of looping against these lower tier killers. Still, they have so many resources that are available. That is something that I say was missing from the last game, was the extended chases using up all of their resources. Even here, Hein is looping around here, but there's another survivor who is nearby who can take a body block hit. First generator does come through. It is on the same side right here. Will we be seeing a down? Yes, we do. Hein is the first down of the evening. 2 generators done. However, that is not as quick as it was last game. The Clown needs to expedite these hooks. He needs to get these hooks rolling. We need to be able to beat that win con from last game, and it is looking like the survivors have so much generated progress. It might be quite difficult.
Now we are going to see Marco in the next chase. Marco has shown us a few great chases so far. Unfortunately, this time it's going to be a quick injury, as Urushi was able to place the bottle really, really good and successful for himself. 1 stage so far, ladies and gentlemen. We need some downs. We need some pressure on the survivor team, and we need them quickly, especially with the 3rd generator now coming out. Edge map, Anderson, Marco is showing us a little bit of a tour around the ARP. Gonna be downed just now. Difficulty is also that we are not able to force the 2nd stage on a survivor yet, meaning that the tunnel out gameplay that we usually see to have a 3v1 scenario as quick as possible is not successfully set up just yet. 20% in the shack, so Calamity survivors also not wasting any time after popping the previous gens. Ray, do you suggest we should see some slugging in order to put pressure onto them?
I really don't think that the Clown is capable. That sounds like something that would be very difficult for an M1 killer to achieve, especially with these survivors who don't just give out any of these tags for free. Urushi here trying to go for a little bit of swing, but that's a miss on Rocket, who plays that so very well, is able to just buy even a couple seconds on this tiny little filler pallet. Those add up. So even with Rocket using his pathing to get away from the Clown, finds another filler pallet. Like I said, this is something that we were missing in the previous game, was all of these chases that could have been happening and tags that would have been happening if they had used the resources. Wouldn't have been happening, sorry. Rocket does take 1 hit right there, but like this will be the 3rd fresh hook of the evening, and yeah, you do need freshes, but you also need some more map pressure. And look at that, another generator gets done. I wouldn't be too surprised. There's a survivor right here who's not even on a generator. I would not be surprised if one's very close. Yes, right here, Marco is working on this one. It is about 70, about 50% now, and it is hooked right on top of that, but the survivors are sitting in a very good position. Look at this. This generator across the map also has 50%. This is the kind of gameplay that you want to see from a top-tier team in DBDLeague. They're showcasing us just exactly who this other team is messing with. All this map pressure and the chases are just adding up. They're playing so very well. The Clown will have to perform a miracle here just to be able to meet the results that Rocket was able to get for them last game.
Rocket trying to move around here while having guidance also by Pedro. Very, very nice that they are now also bringing in the teamwork. When the pallets are not enough anymore, then you're using the meat shield basically and passing it throughout your team. So Rocket being able to go for a longer run here, and unfortunate for Urushi now that he's not able to take that down. No one escapes death is activated. 4% of faster movement for the killer here, able maybe to make a cut down onto some loops, but it would take a lot more than just taking down Rocket, and they are already on the door as well. Is Calamity playing with 7 survivors is what I'm asking myself sometimes. They're getting the task on the generators done, they are healing each other, they are body blocking for each other, and they are instantly on the gate, right? It's crazy what sort of coordination they have.
This is something that I've said previously about Calamity as well. It always feels like they're speed hacking those generators because their pressure is very, very good. They make calls and then they make them confidently. They don't have a lot of downtime between them hopping on the next generator because they are not playing around. Their team chemistry has definitely shown to be very, very good. Look at this. Also, they just picked up that survivor. They know exactly where everyone is, and their calls are fantastic. Nobody was even hiding by that other gate. They just pick up. All 4 survivors get out, and right there with them escaping will confirm that this match today will be going to Calamity.
And that seals the deal. That means that Calamity has taken the win here in Group C. Very, very well done. They will receive the great advantage for the brackets. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking a little bit of a look here. What's happening at the final stage? We are going to see Eternal facing Severance, Calamity going against Infinity, Oracle against Eunoia, and Elysium facing Rapture. All of that is happening next weekend. Best of 5s are starting next weekend, and the special balance with the Halloween sets are starting as well. So a lot of changes, a lot of additional challenges for the teams, and honestly it will just get more exciting because the group stage has already been absolutely insane here. Ray, thank you so much for being here today. It has been an absolute blast. I missed casting with you. The last time was Season 9 Grand Final a long time ago. Finally back. Thank you so much that you took these games with me.